bet they're asleep in New York. I bet they're asleep all over America. Of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine.
Casablanca is a 1942 American romantic drama set against the backdrop of World War II. The film was directed by Michael Curtiz, based off of an unproduced stage play, Everybody Comes to Rick's. The film stars Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, Conrad Veidt, Claude Rains, Peter Lorre, Paul Henreid, and Sidney Greenstreet. Taking place in a war-torn Europe, primarily in French Morocco, Casablanca focuses on an American expatriate who must choose between his love for a woman and helping her Czech resistance leader husband leave Casablanca to continue his fight against the Nazis. Casablanca is a very interesting picture for one very specific reason. When the film was made, it had A-list stars and an A-list director whose story and subject matter was just one of hundreds of pictures produced by Hollywood every year. No one in its production expected it to be anything other than an ordinary film. Casablanca was also rushed to be made to take advantage of the publicity from the Allied invasion of North Africa. Although the film felt like an ordinary Hollywood movie, Casablanca won 3 Academy Awards for Best Direction, Best Feature, and Screenplay. The irony of the film is that it is considered to be one of the greatest films ever made, and also one of the most quoted and influential for a lot of modern filmmakers. On the production side, because the film was rushed to be made, there actually was no finished screenplay for the movie. According to actress Ingrid Bergman, she once said that the filmmakers and screenwriters were making everything up as they went along, day by day, which is not only extremely risky for a Hollywood film, but it is also completely unheard of. Casablanca was shot entirely on a Warner Brothers set. The only scene not being on a lot was the airport scene near the beginning of the movie when Major Strasser arrives in Casablanca. The ending scene, which also takes place at an airport, was actually a soundstage that was engulfed by fog machines. The plane that you see in the background is actually a cardboard cutout of an airplane, as the producers could not afford to have a real plane on set. The way the fog rolls into the scene creates an optical illusion that the plane is actually real, which was very creative as a very useful camera trick. Also, Humphrey Bogart was 3 inches shorter than Ingrid Bergman, so he had to wear suspension shoes so that they could be the same height. The famous ending of the movie where Bogart decides to leave and have Bergman's character get on the plane with her husband was not intended to be final. The directors and screenwriters couldn't make up their minds on whether Rick should have Ilsa leave or have her stay with him. Because of this conundrum, they actually shot both scenes, but thought it made more sense for Ilsa to leave, showing that Rick is sacrificing his love for Ilsa in order to join back into the war effort, making his choice a sacrificial one. And it's a good thing they chose that version because it's also the most classic ending in any movie ever created.
Out of it since then, it all adds up to one thing. You're getting on that plane with Victor where you belong.
But Richard, no one...
Now, you've got to listen to me. You have any idea what you'd have to look forward to if you stayed here? 9 chances out of 10, we'd both wind up at a concentration camp. Isn't that true, Louis?
I'm afraid Major Strasser would insist.
You're saying this only to make me go.
I'm saying it because it's true. Inside of us, we both know you belong with Victor. You're part of his work, the thing that keeps him going. If that plane leaves the ground and you're not with him, you'll regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon and for the rest of your life.
But what about us?
We'll always have Paris. We didn't have. We lost it until you came to Casablanca. We got it back last night.
Casablanca has amazing cinematography done by Arthur Edison a veteran who previously shot the Maltese Falcon in Frankenstein. The way he moves the camera while the actors are moving was revolutionary at the time and helps give the picture a sense of flow. And Max Steiner, who is considered to be one of the greatest composers of all time, did the score for Casablanca, giving it such an iconic sense of tone. And of course, the best song in cinema history, As Time Goes By, becomes not only the main song used in the film, but it also becomes a part of the score.
Play it once, Sam. For all time's sake.
I don't know what you mean, Miss Elsa.
Play it, Sam. Play as time goes by.
Oh, I can't remember it, Miss Elsa. I'm a little rusty on it.
I'll hum it for you. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Sing it, Sam.
As Time Goes By was written by Herman Hupfeld in 1931 and most famously was sung by Dooley Wilson, who plays Sam in the movie. The song's lasting influence is standard when studying cinema history and is the quintessential song in a movie right next to Over the Rainbow from The Wizard of Oz. When Casablanca came out, it did really well at the box office and it was praised by the critics. Even though the movie did well at the box office, it wasn't a substantial number, but numbers didn't really matter back then as they do now, because Hollywood turned out picture after picture, not focusing on numbers the way that studio executives do today. And the numbers also didn't really matter because the film is considered to be one of the greatest films in history. Over the years, the film has gained major popularity with critics and modern moviegoers. Many film historians and critics argue that the film is a sort of rite of passage for film students and moviegoers, saying that this is a film that everyone should watch at least once in their lifetime, especially if you are a film student. Steven Spielberg argues that Casablanca and Citizen Kane are the best films ever made, and he constantly praises Casablanca for its technique and also says that a lot of his films are inspired by Casablanca, especially Raiders of the Lost Ark. According to film critic Roger Ebert, he said that Casablanca is probably on more lists of the greatest films of all time than any other title, including Citizen Kane, because of its wider appeal. Film critic and historian Leonard Maltin considers Casablanca to be the greatest film of all time. Over the years, Casablanca has been the subject of discussion for a modern remake, but people are extremely hesitant to touch the film because of its status and history. Even Warner Brothers has argued that it will not remake the film because it is untouchable, and many people agree. Casablanca is not only a bona fide classic, but it's considered to be one of the greatest films of all time. The movie's outstanding dialogue, its acting, story, and musical score makes Casablanca to be a diamond in the rough for films. Its lasting influence on filmmakers is still apparent and relevant, and Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman's chemistry creates the best cast of lovers in any film to date. Meaning that no matter how much time goes by, in all the gin joints and all the towns of all the world, the film will never cease to enthrall, entertain, and inspire. This is the quintessential Hollywood film.
Now. He's looking at you, kid.